PJNet.TV. Tuesday night, it is 9 o'clock here on the East Coast, and we are almost ready to go. Let's gun down the checklist. We are recording. We are streaming on all platforms. We have Jake standing by. The room is waiting. Let's hope it goes well. We'll count down to Studio 8 in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, welcome back, or welcome to PJNet.TV. I'm excited about what we are doing tonight. Yes, we are doing a lot tonight. For example, first of all, we were experiencing some technical difficulties that we stayed up, myself and Sunbelt Girl, until 4 in the morning to compensate, correct, mitigate, or otherwise make go away. And it is my sincere hope that the speaking of the words and the seeing of the video are somewhat in sync. Hey, welcome in the chat room, PJNet.TV. If you are watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, we are so glad you have joined us tonight. I'm your host, Coach Prasick, encouraging you, inviting you, compelling you, commanding you, and begging you. The chat room is over at PJNet.TV. That's where all the people are. You want to have some fun? Go meet some good people. If you don't want to go over there, watch it right here. It's cool. Welcome, everybody. Hey, it is the second Tuesday of the month, and we reserve that time for a very special guest. You know, the man himself, he's been here for almost 5 minutes now, waiting on me to shut up. Jake McCandless, you're in Arkansas, is that correct?
Yes, I'm in Arkansas.
Y'all having those tornadoes? Y'all sent us some tornadoes.
We did.
Thanks.
Did, unfortunately.
I really appreciate that. Andy Clapp couldn't be here Monday night because of you guys.
We've got that effect.
Yeah, you have basements. We don't do that here in Florida. If you dig down that far, you're in the ocean.
Yeah, I know. That's you've got to have a tornado shelter here. You've got to. You know,
it's just part of the house.
You got to get down there with less than 10 people this time. Anyway. And I've got to apologize. I have quarantine hair, so I probably can't say this on the air, but I'm in the market for a black market barber, so you may have to dump that. But I'm needing some help.
And you just are now noticing this? I noticed this months ago. I was wondering.
Well, months ago, that was the way it's supposed to be.
you brush your hair with an egg beater, don't you?
Yeah, but it's to the point now where it doesn't stay. You know, it's just not enough product in the world.
Well, you've always worried about other people's opinions, and you are one that strives for perfection. So that's two of the things I admire least about you. But anyway,
hair and seeking perfection. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Jake, you know, I'm glad we hadn't talked in a while. I am intrigued, fascinated, overjoyed, and somewhat skeptical of everybody's going out now. Churches are now faced with either just shutting down and, you know, cuddling up in the fetal position and giving up, or trying to make it online. And you are among the pioneers of the digital church. And I just wanted to get your take. How are you feeling? Good that this is happening? What do you think? How do you think it's going to look when this kind of blows over?
Well, yeah. So we've been doing it for 2.5 years, and I mean, you talked with my co-partner in crime, Christopher Manti, as well about this several weeks ago. So we've been at it for 2.5 years, and you know what we found was extreme excitement for months, and then a wane, and then you've got a core that came in and was committed. I mean, I think that's within the churches that are doing the online model. I think that you're going to see that, which that's typical, but it's amazing. I wish I had the stats before me. So on our Monday night online church campus, we used the online church platform from Live Church TV, and the stats is just unbelievable. If I remember right, it was like 69,000, man. That sounds like way too high. People have come to Christ during this time through that platform. Just unbelievable. In my local church, where I pastor, we launched in January, so we've been doing it, I think, 5 weeks, and we had our first, somebody come in, listen to the message, and then our next step of getting into our Zoom chat, small groups. They made that transition into there, and it's just been a really cool thing to see it work in that way. And myself, I've been really challenged speaking with other pastors from around the country and hearing what's going on, is to wherever the Lord was leading me within pastoring my church, is to come back and realize that hadn't changed. It's just the format has changed. And so rather than just saying, let's just take it everywhere, I think you still got to get where you aim small, and you're still trying to reach who God's called you to reach, and be okay with one at a time versus, because I mean the opportunity is massive, but if you're not speaking to anybody, you're not speaking to anybody. So you're speaking to everybody, you're not speaking to anybody. There we go.
Oh, there.
That's it. I was like, man, that did not make any sense.
Way more profound. Thank you, Jake. I am. Let's kind of break this down. First of all, you've been doing this for a while. One of the observations that I've made is churches that are now trying this for the first time, that are congregations, south of 200, are putting themselves on the internet, on social media, and they're discovering that they are getting hundreds and even thousands of views. Now, I wonder if they've even taken note of the points on the scoreboard and scratching their head thinking, gosh, that didn't even cost anything.
Yes. Yeah. So the church that we launched, we're running like 45 right now. Our first service online, we had over 300 watching live in the moment. That service, I mean, unbelievable. And then, but what I've been amazed by within the church, my church, is that how much everybody's on mission. I mean, they're purposely sharing and commenting and seeing that all part of the mission. And in a lot of ways, it's made church, at least for us, what I'm seeing locally, is engaged more and active and seeing the vision more than we were within just the four walls.
Well, and then there's two camps here. I was speaking with a good friend of mine who is Catholic, and doing an online version of communion is a little awkward for them.
Yes.
But
we've done it. We've done it with the online campus. So we've done it twice a year. So we've done it 4 times, and but it's been a very sweet time. And so with that online campus, I mean, the reason for it was connecting people who were following teachings online, reading books, but they weren't plugged into a body of believers. And so for some of them, it was the first time in maybe a decade or more that they had connected with other believers in communion. And I mean, it's just been a really sweet time. I think we had it a couple weeks ago, and it was a couple in, I think they're refugees in Jordan area related to that, and they had never had the chance to take communion with other believers. You talk about an awesome testimony, hearing from them on that.
Well, and then there's the old stuck in the mud, there's just this is no substitute for getting together in person. And you know what? I kind of agree with them, but I don't. The premise is that that church is better if we do it inside of a wall. I don't agree with that.
No,
we need both.
No, I mean, you need real contact. But I really think when you're thinking online, you're making this intentional engagement. I'm engaged with the whole group of, I mean, the small new launch church, the congregation there. We're engaged all the time through a couple of Facebook groups, and I mean, it's just this constant conversation, constant coming back to the message that had been preached that Sunday. I think that's just an awesome. Of course, you can do that and see each other, be there physically, and have that. But it's just been an awesome just to see just this continual relationship versus just seeing each other on Sunday and that's it.
Hey, Jake, please rebuke me if I'm wrong, okay? But I'm about to say something I look on social media, and over and over and over, I get these, promoted posts, sponsored posts, and these people are crawling out of the woodwork. We're here to help your church go online. And I just get the impression of vultures circling around these churches. I don't know these people. Where have they been hiding? Do they? I mean, am I off base? Is that just pride or
No,
flesh
I mean,
getting
no,
the
that's
best of me?
well, it's I think it's a mix, but yeah, it is. I mean, me and Christopher, I mean, so we've had experience doing this, and I mean, it was a big temptation for us to jump out there and say, okay, we know what we're doing, uh, but I mean, that was our response was, if we're going to do anything, we're going to do it free, and we're just going to help, and we actually have worked with a Arabic congregation that has launched out of our body, and they've surpassed us like in the first few weeks, and I mean, just amazing. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, coming out of the woodwork with it, yeah, it's
It seems like I just get the sense they're using this as an opportunity to exploit desperate, little churches that are trying to do their best. And of course, I'd always reply, "Oh, we do that for free."
right,
You know?
right.
You want to do online church? Come over to PJ Net.
Yeah, I mean,
got
the
people
post
that-
you made about offering to walk a church through that. I mean, just amazing. My church, if we didn't have the technology within the church when we could not stream there, and if I hadn't already been doing something and had some, personal equipment and things like that, we'd just be, a ship out of the water. I mean, that would just be impossible for us. Which for us has been great because, I mean, we're growing and we're, just from starting. So, I mean, you walk into our service and I love it. I enjoy it, but it's not on par with a lot of the churches you would go to. But when you go online, it really kind of, hate to say it like this, but evens the playing field in a lot of ways.
It absolutely does.
Yeah.
The same thing happened. You can go to a website and you think, wow, this is really smoking hot. And it's really just a guy operating out of a mini warehouse,
Yeah. If people knew what was really going on,
with a bunch of antlers mounted on the back wall,
I cover them up for everybody but you. How about that?
As I say that, I am sitting on a plywood box with a plywood desk on two sawhorses. Literally, folks. You can't make this up. Well, Jake, I wanted to have that conversation with you because you are not new at this, and I wanted to gain your insight. But that is not what you wanted to talk about tonight.
Hey, but I'm game to go there. I don't know if we're having COVID-19 overload. I heard someone say that the other day. So I'm game to go in another direction if we need something fresh. But yeah, I mean, definitely this online thing, and I look at it I actually was excited. I mean, I hate to say that, but I was excited at the opportunity that can come from it. But I saw a post today I thought was very interesting. Someone was saying, so we had this problem, we couldn't meet physically, and so immediately it went to finding solutions, which we needed to do. But the focus has been, how can we keep that service still as much as it used to be, just in a new way? And I really think that's the wrong focus. I think we just blow it all up and let's just say, hey, what's the best thing that we need to do for our people to grow and to reach out? And so when we begin to launch back in January, our goal has been, our worship service is not crusade style. We're not doing the Great Commission just through the service. Rather, we want our service time and our small groups to help you go do that in, rest of the week. And so we see it as a time of encouragement and refueling. Well, when the gates open that you could go online and do this, I mean, really immediately jump to evangelistic opportunities. And I've had to say, the vision that was given that we really want to push individuals and help them and equip them to do the Great Commission, carry that out within everyday life. We'd be a catalyst for that versus us being the only evangelistic arm of this body of believers. And so I've had to kind of change gears and get back to that mode. But, I think that's what we're going to have to find to do. You're going to have to find your lane. You can't just be copying everybody what they're doing, and you can't just be trying to repeat what you were already doing.
Well, and then I wonder, the jury's still out, but this will blow over, and will these churches that did an online experiment simply retreat back to what they were doing before? I would hate to see that happen.
I don't think so, but it's a lot of work. I mean, I work harder for a service to put a service together So we're doing it. We were doing it live, but you have so many issues with Facebook Live and those things that we went to just pre-recording and doing the premiere, which has been awesome. But
Hmm.
piecing that together, taking in the music, people doing the music, getting the video from them, getting the video from somebody that does a welcome, getting the piece for children, getting the message, getting that edited in and all that. Man, that's tons of work. And so
I know.
I can see people wanting to do it, but as you know, carrying out that work is a lot.
Well, and there's a certain amount of skill. I mean, it can be learned, I think, by anybody, but the tools are they're very cheap, if not free. I mean, I'm using a pretty, anyway. Perfection. You had some thoughts on perfection.
Well,
The enemy
yeah,
of what?
so I mean, I think it fit in this time is because, um, in my quiet time today, what was put on my heart was this to talk about the topic of being paralyzed by perfection. I know a lot of those that is happening. I've got the group chat open and it's happening. A lot of folks in today, and I know a lot of them are content creators or writers. Uh, and I think at least for me, I've always had this struggle is I want it to be perfect. Now, nothing I do is remotely close to perfect, but I would love for it to be. And I have a hard time pulling the trigger, getting something out there because I want it to be a certain way. And just very early on, I know several people are represented by Kyle Young. Even before he was representing me as an agent, he told me, he said, there's a difference with authors. You've got those who have a masterpiece. They really kind of spend their whole life crafting and it just never goes anywhere, but it may be a masterpiece. And then you have authors who just are putting stuff out and they're able to build a quote career out of that. And it was a real challenge for me because I would have been more the masterpiece or trying for a masterpiece type thing. And, it just comes a point where you've just got to pull the trigger. I'm just thinking, when I became a writer, I thought I would just be sipping coffee in coffee houses and listening to some cool music and hip music and, writing and being able to live out of my head. But my desk, I don't even have room to write on my desk because it's cameras, it's microphones, it's, audio interfaces, lights, lenses. I mean, just all this stuff because you've got, video media is where it's at, as you well know. And I held off for so long because I just felt like I didn't have the equipment to do quality stuff. And so, just come to a point where you've got to pull the trigger because if you don't, nothing's going to get out there. And so, I think it's a challenge. I don't know if I'm the only one that has deals with that struggle. Now, there's some folks out there who might need to put a little more time in something. But if you struggle with not wanting to do it until it's perfect, pull the trigger, get it out there, say what needs to be said.
Well, there's two illustrations that come to mind. The problem is not new. Okay, Zig Ziglar, I think, has the best anecdote for that. If you wait for all the lights to turn green before you leave, you'll never leave.
Yeah.
And the other one was, now you're not old enough to remember a Coleman lantern.
Hey, I've got them. I'm a little on that prepper edge, so yeah, I've got some.
Okay, all right. You got the Coleman lantern,
Yeah.
which is a brilliant piece of American engineering. Okay, well, the problem with the Coleman light, if you're walking through the woods, you can't see out in the distance. You can only see the immediate area around you. Well, take that step, and then the light comes with you, and you can take the next step. So the problem is not new to technology, but the conundrum is, the catch-22 is, because like you, Jake, I struggle with, well, when we get this next piece of gear, we're gonna, and then I see people going, there's one, I won't mention any names, but he literally streams in 4K. It's like, huh? You can stream in 4K, but the people aren't consuming it in 4K.
Right.
And if they could, it would sit there and buffer. They're on a cellular connection. We literally stream at 720p. You know what that means.
Yeah.
And that's the lowest of what would be considered high definition. Now, we could go to a higher version of that. The problem is it would only consume more bandwidth and only make it more difficult to watch. The on a mobile device, the size of the picture is not much bigger than a postage stamp. So what? Now, if you got a 65-inch TV, 4K would be great.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
But most people don't consume social media on 65-inch televisions.
That's right. Yes.
Good thoughts. Doing a time check here. Oh my gosh. You know what? We've got Del Didway coming up shortly. Jake, thanks for your... I wanted to compare notes with you because I am seeing, and I rejoice in much of what I'm seeing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there's some stuff that's bothering me.
Yeah.
And,
I'm with
and the jury is out. I want to see in November and December where we're at on the digital playing field, because the world hasn't backed off on its agenda whatsoever.
No.
And I think we're conquering new territory, and if we take it serious and work together, we can put a beachhead on this one. And
Well, I think we have to look at 9/11 as a precursor. You know, there was a great surge of church attendance and spiritual interest, and then it faded out very quickly, and then goes the opposite way. You know, that's probably the pattern that will happen here. But right now, there are a lot of open hearts. And so I think we need to take advantage of it. Definitely, we need to harvest as much as we can right now. But I think we also need to be looking ahead that, hey, this fire may not last.
Good thoughts, Jake. You're the man. Appreciate it, bud. Sorry we went a little bit late tonight, but hey, we're always glad to have you join us. It is the second Tuesday of every month that you can find Jake McCandless right here on pjnet.tv. Thank you very much, sir. All right, that was good. I needed to hear that. I don't know about you. Welcome. Thank you again, all of you in the chat room. I'm going to have to wrap up real quick because Del Didway is coming our way in just a few moments. Folks, I don't know if we are past our syncing issues. Since we've gone to some of this new gear, things are in it. It's making me a bit, distracted and nervous, but I hope that, I'm going to do this little test right now. Here we go. Ready? Here we go. Okay. That'll be used in post-production to find out, are we in sync? And if we're not, how much off are we, so we can continue to adjust? So we want to do it right. Folks, I got to go now, but I'm going to leave you with two questions. First, stay where you're at. We got Del Didway coming in 10 minutes. And two questions. Number one, what is the boldest thing you've ever done for Jesus Christ? Number two, how long ago was that? The challenge that I take seriously myself, and one that I hope that you will take seriously as well, is to never be satisfied.